Welcome, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends. As some of you might have guessed, this is going to be a Speedpaint video, but it's not just that. This is a little tribute to one of my oldest characters, Yoya Kaguya, the one you see me drawing on screen. I've made her nearly 10 years ago, when I was merely a 12-year-old kid, making my first attempts at writing stories and drawing anything. So, of course, the first versions of her didn't look quite as good as those I draw today. But her story has barely changed since I first, made it 10 years ago. And I am somewhat proud of 12-year-old me for making a relatively decent story and a relatively decent character to come along with it. Today I would like to share that with you. Yoya Kaguya was, as the last name might imply, born to the Kaguya family. A family that at some point had an alliance with the Hidden Mist village, but then decided to attack them for unspecified reasons and were nearly completely wiped out. The only surviving member we know of in the anime and manga is Kimimaro Kaguya, who dies before the time skip. So yes, we know very little of this family. We know that barely any one of them is alive, and I made an OC for them. Like any 12-year-old girl. Yes, I do have an OC if you were wondering. Let's set the OC aside for now. She isn't really important to the story yet. So, little Yoya was 7 years old when the Kaguya family decided to attack the Hidden Mist village and was, very nearly completely wiped out. Some of them managed to escape. Yoya did not. She was caught in the fighting. She was caught and barely managed to survive. But when only a few people were left standing, she was still there, a little girl. And the Mitsukage, the head of the village, found that rather intriguing. Since the timeline in Naruto is kind of vague with many things, I've decided to make the Mitsukage for that point in time the only Mitsukage we really know of. Yagoda. You know, the bloodthirsty, tiny person. Well, he is said to be bloodthirsty, but we don't know how much of this thirst for blood is himself and how much of it was the control of one Obito Uchiha. So I went with he's actually really nice. And, he is ruthless in war, but it's not like no one dies in war. He's a really kind guy. And he saw this little girl and thought to himself that, yeah, she has potential. Let's not kill her. Maybe we can get her to swear fealty to our village, and she can become a good Konoichi for us. And she did. She absolutely did. And like many little girls who fall in love with their heroes, little Kaguya got a crush on him. But she's not the type to blush and squeal. That was never her. She's like way too serious for it, and honestly, the way she tried to show him that she liked him was by being the most respectful and most loyal she could be. Because that's just Yoya for you. And he found that intriguing. He liked it. He liked this little girl, and over the years, he came to like her even more. When Yoya was 14, she got a very special gift. A necklace that, replaces a promise ring in this case. A promise that one day, if she would still like to, he would marry her. But, of course, anyone familiar with Naruto canon knows that Yagura died at some point. He has been ruthless in the Third Shinobi War with his tactics, earning the reputation of the Blood Mist. But what he did under the control of one Obito Uchiha was too much even for him. Once he regained his senses, he chose to die an honorable death. So he died. And Yoya gave him her first and her last kiss as a goodbye. Again, she's fiercely loyal, so she didn't stop him. But that doesn't mean she wasn't sad. And in fact, she swore to herself never to take a boyfriend or a husband. But she wasn't alone. Not entirely. She had a village to look after. A legacy to protect in a sense. And she has a friend. One Minai Uchiha. Yes, you might have realized my channel name is Minai. I made this channel name actually for a Deviantart account at first. Specifically to upload pictures and stories about my OCs. With Minai Uchiha being front and center. Minai Uchiha is Yuya's best friend, and they're kind of similar and the opposite in the best ways. They complement one another, and as Yuya is, being fiercely loyal, she has something to live for. She has a friend to live for. And that is, in a way, where her story ends.